What's going on, boys? Welcome back. It's your boy Max. Today's video is about women make it easy for the elite man. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't know what is the elite man, and I speak a lot about it on my Instagram. Basically, the elite man is the opposite of the NPC. Well, who is the NPC? The NPC is the man that drifts through life, the man that has vices, that escapes his reality with vices, with smoking, with drinking, with partying, with chasing girls. The NPC is the one that doesn't prioritize his physique, doesn't prioritize his health, doesn't take care of his presentation. The NPC is the guy that nobody respects and no woman is attracted to. The NPC is the one that always looks for a way out, always looks for shortcuts to achieve the things that he claims he wants to achieve. And that's why he never actually does. You see, the elite man is not the man with the most money. He's not the man with the fanciest cars. He's not the man with the biggest house. He's the man that's done the inner work. And that's the most important. Because once you've done the inner work, once you have that self-respect within yourself, everything else that's materialistic, the cars, the houses, the expensive trips, all of that is just destined. All of that is gonna happen eventually. But you can have all of those things and still be an NPC. There's plenty of guys with a lot of money, but yet every single day they escape their reality. They have to get so drunk that they don't even know their name. They have to go out and party all the time. They have to go out and still chase women. They're still out of shape. Plenty of these crypto guys, multimillionaires, young guys, driving fancy whips in Miami, and yet still they're NPCs, right? They may attract some women, but best believe it's only gold diggers, only people that want them for their money. And so no men actually respect them because they just took the shortcuts in life. They didn't really work for what they got, right? They have no sort of discipline, no sort of routine that truly makes you into a successful man. Something that I like to call the elite man, because my program is called Elite Domination. So this man that's done the inner work, that doesn't have vices, that takes care of his physique, eats clean, has a nice physique that's respectable, is strong, is masculine, has a masculine frame, a masculine aura to himself, can lead other men, can lead a woman, takes care of his presentation, watches the way he dresses, watches the way he carries himself, watches who he associates with. The man that's reserved, but still able to be social. That's who the elite man is to me. And every man is capable of becoming the elite man. But every man starts out as an NPC. That's just the way the society has programmed us to be. They programmed us to doom scroll forever. They programmed us to pedestalize women. They programmed us to be simps. They programmed us to, eat junk food, eat processed foods. It's everywhere you go. And so it's so easy to just fall into that trap and stay in it. But best believe, bro, once you escape out of that matrix, once you actually turn yourself into the elite man, right? Once you become that man who's physically capable, you know how to carry yourself, you know how to present yourself, you've done the work on the inside and you know how to represent it on the outside as well, that's when the game really starts. That's when the game gets exciting. And I want to break down a little story about what just happened at the gym today with this one shorty. And this is why I say women make it easy for the elite man. Because when I was an NPC, when I was escaping my reality with vices, with smoking, with drinking, with partying, when I wasn't taking the gym serious, when I had a skinny fat physique, when I wasn't getting any respect from anybody else because I didn't even respect myself. I said I wanted all these things, but I wasn't actually taking no action towards my goals. I was a straight up NPC, guys. And when I was, best believe I was going through hell when I was trying to speak to women, when I was trying to attract them, when I was trying to date them. They made me jump through a whole bunch of hoops, right? And I was taking it because I had no other choice. Because I couldn't just go on an app and have 50 women messaging me first. I couldn't just approach a woman and she instantly acts feminine to me. She instantly is receptive. She's instantly validating me and giving me attention. I couldn't have any of that. In fact, I actually remember this was around Corona times when I was like really down bad. I'm gonna throw up a picture of what I used to look like. This was like I was super down bad, just consumed with vices. I had online classes in college at the time, and I was just like mentally drained and completely like socially awkward. But I was trying to get better, right? That's when my real self-improvement journey began. And I was trying to escape this hole that I put myself into. And so I started doing cold approaches. And I remember some of these approaches that I did, like the women would straight up, when I would approach them, they would straight up have a look of disgust on their face. A look of disgust when I would say something to them. And I would never forget that. Because once I've actually stayed consistent with making that transformation and I became the man I am today, now I just want to make it clear. I'm not the richest guy in the world. I don't have the most status. I don't have, some sort of extreme lifestyle. But I've mastered my daily habits. I've mastered my inner work. I've mastered my routines. I've mastered my physique. And I've mastered the psychology behind attraction. And now, when I do approach, like I did today at the gym, which I'll tell you guys about, it's like the complete opposite reaction. I'm telling you straight up, you have to experience both sides to understand the difference. You have to experience the black and the white, right? Because if all you've ever seen was that look of disgust that I mentioned, if that's the only type of reaction that you got, then you think that you're just doomed, right? There's plenty of guys who are these like black pillars, and they think that looks maxing, like hitting their face with rocks, is gonna save them. But that's just because they got negative feedback from all the experiences, all the interactions that they've had with women, with society in their life. Probably, most likely, 100% due to the fact that they were NPCs. But the difference is that these guys who resort to the black pill, who resort to extreme looks maxing procedures, these guys will always stay NPCs. Because they haven't accepted the fact that it's not just how attractive you are. You could be a model looking guy, but if you don't have that masculine frame within yourself, if you don't truly respect yourself, no amount of surgery, no amount of looks maxing is gonna ever make you respect yourself. What's gonna make you respect yourself is knowing you didn't take shortcuts. You didn't just pay for a surgery. No, you went inside that gym day after day after day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. You tracked your macros. You ate clean. When everyone wanted to eat bullshit, you ate clean. You stayed on top of your diet. That's what builds self-respect. You know that when everyone was going out to party and drink, you stayed home. You started working on your business. You started working on your purpose. That's what builds self-respect. Every single time you do that, that's what builds self-respect. And that's always the most important. Because like I said, like I always say, nothing worse than a guy who looks attractive, who looks masculine on the outside, but then they get to speaking to you and you're the complete opposite. You're a complete shell of a man. So those guys, they're gonna stay NPCs their whole entire life. But then there's the very few, who make it out of the NPC matrix. And it takes steps, right? You're gonna have to go through the hell before you experience the heaven. Like straight up. When you're an NPC, it's like you're in La La Land. You're just drifting. You're not even aware of what's going on. You're not even aware of the other side, right? This is just your life. Then there comes a point where some guys become awakened to it and they realize that they have to make a change in order to experience anything better. Now, once you actually decide to make that change, that's when you quote unquote wake up. Just like Neo did in the Matrix, right? He took the red pill. This is my version of the red pill. You become an NPC once you accept that there's another side to it and that you are capable of becoming the elite man without any shortcuts, without any crazy procedures, without any sort of, injecting yourself with steroids, without anything extreme, just putting in the reps. Once you accept that you are capable of this, that's when the journey begins. And it's a beautiful journey, I'm not gonna lie, because there's so many ups and downs you're gonna go through. Like so many ups and downs. You're gonna get rejected hundreds of times. You're gonna get brutally rejected, especially in the beginning. Straight up. But you know what's the best about that? Is that once you do make it out, once you become the elite man, you get to look back at all those times. You remember how they did you when you were trying to get it together, when you were trying to quit your vices, when you were trying to take your physique serious, when you were trying to cold approach, when you were trying to improve your presentation. You're going to remember exactly how they did you. And you're going to use that to always keep your frame. And so I've seen the worst of the worst. I've seen the brutal rejections. I've seen, people just disrespecting me because I was skinny fat, because I was literally 125 pounds. I've seen it all. And now that I'm on the other side, and it took years to get to where I'm at, because I had to go through those trials and tribulations. Now, it doesn't have to take you so long. If you have someone guiding you, if you have someone leading you every step of the way, you could get it done way quicker, right? It's still going to take time, best believe. Depends how down bad you are. Depends how quick you are to learn and implement and apply information. But if you're someone who, you have the systems, you have the routines, you just need to apply it. You just need to know how to apply it. You just need someone to guide you through it. You can get it done way quicker. You can become the elite man way faster than I did, right? It took me about, realistically, it took me about 5 years. 5 years, right? It could take you half. It could take you half the time if you actually had a mentor. But besides that, once you do become the elite man, right? The game never stops, right? There's always new levels, but there is a certain level, there is a certain point where you're like, okay, yeah, everywhere I go, I'm respected by men, by women. I approach women, they treat me completely different than they used to, right? They're feminine, they literally seem super interested in me. They're complimenting me all of a sudden. I'm not the one throwing out compliments, they're complimenting me, validating me, asking me out, approaching me, messaging me first. That's what it's all about. That's when you notice that, okay, yeah, you're up there now. You've quote unquote made it. But there's always new levels. But getting into the story, right? Because I don't want to make this video too long. I was at the gym today, man, and there's this one shorty at my gym who I've seen for the past maybe 2 weeks. I've seen her a few times, and every single time I get done doing a heavy set. I remember the first time I seen her, I was doing weighted dips, 3 plates, just weighted dips, and I finished off my set. And I look around, and then I see her staring at me, straight up staring at me, and didn't think much of it. Obviously, I knew that she was choosing, but I don't really approach in the gym, guys. Like I told you guys, I just keep it low, keep my head down, put in the work. But I've seen her literally every single time I was in the gym and I seen her, this would happen. So today, seen her again, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna just say what's up. So I was like, oh, I could have sworn I've seen you somewhere before. Could have sworn I know you from somewhere. And she was like, oh my God, yeah, I thought you were Puerto Rican or Arab. And then she asked me where I'm from. Turns out we have similar backgrounds. And when I tell you Bro, first off, Shorty asked me my age. I told her my age. I told her I'm 24. And at first I was like, try 45, right? 'Cause she said I'm either in my mid 20s or mid 30s. I was like, try mid 40s. Tell me why Shorty's like, oh, don't break my heart. Like, I'm gonna go to sleep crying tonight. Are you really in your mid 40s? And I'm like, nah, I'm not. And then I made a joke about her. She was like, how old do you think I am? I'm like, oh, probably 35. And she was like, stop, I'm gonna cry tonight. And she was like, well, you really think I'm 35? And I'm like, bro, no, right? But she was just straight up validating me in this conversation. This is the first conversation I ever had with this chick, right? She's a good looking chick. Mind you, I'm 5'7" and a half, right? 5'8" and a half, 5'9" with shoes on. This shorty is like 5'11", maybe 6 feet tall, thick, right? Good looking girl. And just straight up validate me. And it's like, I literally did not have to do any sort of validation, didn't have to compliment her at all. I was just having a simple convo. She was doing all the work for me. And that's why I say they make it so easy. They make it so easy. When you're not thirsty for it, when you're the guy who always has his head down, you don't just like notice, like, it's not the first time I seen her giving intrusive signals. I wasn't so quick to, attack on it, right? Some guys, as soon as they see some girl just even look their way, they're on it, right? They're thirsty for it, they're needy for it. Nah, I was just chilling. I was doing my workout. I literally had multiple times that this chick would stare at me. And then I was like, you know what? Let me see what's up, right? Let me see why she keeps looking, right? And this would have never happened to me before. Never would have happened to me before. In fact, before, if I would do an approach like this, they would act all high and mighty, right? And there's a few girls who still do this shit, right? Who have an inflated ego, who see that you're, an elite man, who see that you're select, who see that, obviously you have a lot to offer, and that you're good looking, you're pre-selected. They're gonna try to, like, make themselves look higher on purpose, right? But I'm not talking about these shorties. I'm talking about just the regular girls who don't have like these inflated egos. Even these girls would still give me shit back in the day. And rightfully so. Because every time you break a promise to yourself, every time you don't do what you said you're gonna do, every time you go against your word, every time you break your non-negotiables, every time you go against your creed, every time you skip the gym, every time you eat that shit, every time you smoke when you said you would stop, every time you go out when you said you would stop, every time you beat yourself off when you said you would stop, right? All of that kills your self-respect. And you may not notice it right away, but best believe subconsciously, you're training your mind that you don't take yourself serious. And all of that energy rubs off in your interactions with people. That's why you see like all these micro expressions that people give you is because they notice that there's something wrong with you. Like, straight up, you have something wrong with yourself. You have some sort of disconnect, right? You may look a certain way, but then the way that you carry yourself, it doesn't add up. And it's because deep down you lack that inner self-respect. But just know, it's all worth it. It's so worth it. Like, if there's anything you do as a man, it's to build yourself up and to stay true to your creed. Build up that self-respect, because once you have that, there's nothing that can stop you. You can literally have the entire world. You can have all the money. You can have the best family. You can have the status. You can have the women. You can have the friends. You can have the social circle. You can have anything you want. But you first need that self-respect, because nobody wants to associate with a guy that doesn't even respect himself. Nobody wants to respect that guy. No woman wants to go out with that guy, right? No one wants to present that guy opportunities, right? The universe gives back to the people that sacrificed every little bit of their soul for success, right? Not in some sort of demonic way, but in a way that you literally sacrifice for this shit, right? Your blood, sweat, tears. You put in the work. That's who the universe gives back to. And don't get it misconstrued when you see guys who seems like they got it easy, seems like they hit the lottery, because just because they got money, just because they got some girl by their side, you never know what's going on with them. You never know the personal battles that they're dealing with every single day. They might hate themselves. They might be on the verge of, you know what, right? Of straight up. They might be. So don't just because it looks all pretty on the outside, on Instagram, just because their lifestyle looks flashy, a lot of these guys are miserable. A lot of these guys are lost in the sauce. You could be broken, lost in the sauce, and you could be rich and lost in the sauce. But wealth comes from inside. Comes from the personal development. And your level of success never exceeds your level of personal development as a man. So take this as your sign to become the elite man, to cut off your vices, to take your training serious, to improve your presentation, stop giving a fuck what people think, start going all in, and be selfish, and personal develop yourself into becoming the man that you're destined to be. That's all I wanted to say for this video. I'll catch you boys in the next one. Stay dangerous.